Um, the first time that I held Oliver, I got to hold him the day before Craig. He was 19 days old because he was born on August 11th and it was August the 30th when I got to hold him. I did not know it was going to happen that day. I was there for rounds and I just thought it was going to be another day of talking to the doctors and nurses and visiting with him and reading him a book and then going home. And he had just been transitioned from the jet vent to a conventional vent, so there was slightly less equipment. And the doctor that day said, I think it's time to get him out. And I said, out where? And they told me that I was going to get to do skin to skin, which normally Craig would have been there, but he had to work that day. And I was able to be there in the morning. I was scared because he was tiny. I was scared because there were a lot of moving parts that had to go into it. I was also scared that I was going to like expose him to something or anything like that, just because, you know, he was so fragile and tiny. But once they actually got him out, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting emotional. And they put him on my chest. They let me do a standing transfer, which was really cool. It was the first time he really felt like mine. It was the first time it felt like we were, you know, heart to heart. And I got to listen to his sounds up close because, you know, up until that point, it had only been through his isolette. I got to touch his tiny little hands and had them rest on my chest. And it was just the most magical moment. I'm so glad his nurse thought to take a picture that day. The look on my face is just pure joy. And it's because he was mine. And I was his, and and now, you know, he wants us to hold him all the time, and he wants us to keep him close, and I'm just really glad that I got to have that experience, even though it was initially scary. You know, you worry about exposing them to things, but really, it's so much better for them to be up close to you, and it actually helps you keep them from getting sick, and it was a really cool thing.
Yeah. I definitely remember the first time I got to hold him, and it was so scary yet so satisfying and so just a great experience. I was able to do a standing transfer as well. They told me I was gonna, you know, take off my shirt, and I just took it right off right there. I didn't care. I was just excited to do it. They're like, oh, well, you probably could have waited, but I was just ready to go. And they put him on me. They taped all his tubes to my shoulder so it would give him some slack. And I remember just sitting down with him and just being so amazed by him and just so happy that I could snuggle him a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience.
Even though it was really scary, it was worth doing it because not only is it the best thing for them and for you, but it's also, you know, it shows you how incredible the nurses and doctors and respiratory therapists are, because they make it happen and they get to see this really special moment and you get to have this really special moment.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth taking the time to do it. And
Definitely.
to build that bond with your baby.
Mm-hmm.